Finally, we have some good news for AEW and Tony Khan as the viewership for Dynamite increases after Samoa Joe defeated Hook to retain the AEW World title. Welcome back, guys, to Fog Wrestling. This week's Dynamite was hyped as a big show. It was Samoa Joe defending the belt against the FTW champion Hook, and Samoa Joe pretty much buried him, pretty much demolished him. He squashed him, but thankfully for AEW, he did not squash the ratings. He did not bury the ratings. In fact, it was the opposite. Finally, AEW actually did something decent, and overall, the show drew 891,000 viewers with a 0.33 in the 18 to 49 demographic. Now, that might not seem like a huge number, and in reality it is not, but you got to keep in mind here that Dynamite has not been doing good numbers. For the past few months, they've been struggling to keep it above 800, sometimes dipping below 800, and this number that they did this week, 891, is actually the highest rating that they've got since the Grand Slam edition of Dynamite back in September. So 5 months. This is the best rating that AEW has done in 5 months. It was also a half decent demographic rating as well. Of course, Tony Khan was going to get on Twitter. When things are bad, when things are tough, Tony Khan gets on Twitter to try and defend it. But when things are great, he also gets on Twitter to brag and blow his own horn. That's what Tony Khan had to say on the matter. Quote, "Thank you all who watched Wednesday Night Dynamite on TBS last night. Thank you to all of the AEW wrestlers, staff and fans. Thanks to you, yesterday Dynamite did our biggest AEW rating since Grand Slam in September. It's going to be an amazing 2024 for AEW. Thanks to you all." End of quote. So Tony Khan is going to take this. He's taking it as a big W. I mean, in reality, it's not a big W. The rating's still poor. It's not a good rating, but it's better than what they've been doing. So I guess every little helps. And sometimes you have to take the small wins when they are available. But also, another interesting thing about this week's Dynamite was it was the first time in a long time, maybe even, I don't know, first time in possibly a year, that they got a strong growth quarter for the final 15 minutes of the show. Now, normally when AEW starts, the Big Bang Theory is on first, so they get a good rating leading into the show, and then quarter by quarter by quarter, the show just plummets. The rating goes down and nobody cares. And last week, the main event between, or 2 weeks ago, the main event between Swerve Strickland and somebody else whose name I can't even remember. That tells you how good of a main event it was. But it actually dipped under 700,000 viewers. It did like 691 or something like that. Awful number. Awful number. But this week, people actually tuned back in to watch Samoa Joe versus Hook. People actually watched the show at the beginning. They tuned it halfway through, but decided to come back to AEW so they could see the main event. So that tells you that people actually cared about the main event. People wanted to see Samoa Joe versus Hook. They started off at over 1 million in the first quarter, but then by the time they got to the main event, 931k came back. So that just tells you that a lot of people were interested in the main event. And if AEW can continue maybe putting on main events like that, maybe having more world title matches on Dynamite, then perhaps they will do better ratings. Perhaps the viewership will get better. But when you look at the last couple of shows they've done the last few weeks, it's been garbage. So you can't really expect people to sit around for 2 hours when they know they ain't getting anything good. But with a title match, like, title matches are always fun. Title matches are always worth watching. Anything can happen. Did we expect Hook to win? No. But people wanted to tune in and see it anyway. People wanted to see, could Hook do it? And on this occasion, it couldn't. But overall, pretty good rating for AEW. Finally, some good news for Tony Khan here. And maybe Samoa Joe is going to be a good champion. Maybe he's actually going to draw and bring in the ratings. Now, I did say that AEW in 2024 would not get above 1 million. I'm actually going to stick by that. I just think that AEW's days of hitting that 1 million mark are done. I look at the people they could potentially bring in to draw a rating, and I just don't see anybody there. I just don't look at anybody that's a free agent in wrestling that AEW could realistically sign that's going to make a big deal, that's going to make a big difference. I don't see it, but look, 891 is a step in the right direction. Can they get back above 900? Maybe. That's got to be the next step. Get back above 900 and then maintain it. Maintain it, and then try and aim for that million mark. I don't think they'll do it, but who knows? We'll see. And I'm sure if they do hit that million viewership mark, then we'll see Tony Khan bragging about it on Twitter all night long. That's it, guys. Catch you in the next one. Been Fog Wrestling. Thanks for watching, and peace.